Hi, this is John Hand, and the Pulsing Cinema movie of the day is Manhunter from 1986, directed by Michael Mann, who at this point was flush with success from the TV series that he'd produced, Miami Vice. And Manhunter is an adaptation of the 1981 novel Red Dragon by Thomas Harris. Red Dragon is the first appearance of Hannibal Lecter, the crazed, psychotic, serial-killing doctor who would show up again in Thomas Harris' sequel to Red Dragon, Silence of the Lambs, which was made into a successful film. But before Silence of the Lambs, there was Red Dragon, and there was Michael Mann's Manhunter. So Red Dragon and Manhunter concerns this criminal profiler, Will Graham. In the film he's played by William Peterson. And Will Graham has been brutalized by by an assault from Hannibal Lecter. He actually caught Hannibal Lecter. And Will Graham is a criminal profiler, a guy who kind of gets into the mind of a serial killer. And in the film, he's supposed to have gotten into the mind of this serial killer so much that he visited Hannibal Lecter. He saw something on a painting on the wall, and he knew that this was the killer. The killer would have this painting. And so he found out, and Hannibal Lecter assaulted him. And this film takes place after that, where Will Graham is retired, but his co-worker, played by Dennis Farina, brings him back into the fold in order to catch a new serial killer, who is this character who identifies himself as the Red Dragon. He's played by Tom Noonan in the film, and he is a creepy character. Red Dragon in the film, in the book, identifies himself with the Red Dragon series of paintings from William Blake, which are all these scenes of religion and these kind of big scenes of demons and dragons and these things, and it has this kind of symbolic importance to this crazed serial killer. So the film is a cat and mouse between Will Graham and Dollarhide with this Hannibal Lecter. He goes back to Hannibal Lecter, and there is a scene with Hannibal Lecter, played at this point by Brian Cox, another kind of skeevy British actor. This was before Anthony Hopkins came onto the scene and played him quite brilliantly in Silence of the Lambs. I'd heard that Brian Dennehy had wanted to play Hannibal Lecter, but that didn't work out. He has played excellently in the one scene or a couple scenes that he has in this film. It's more of an extended. Really, Hannibal Lecter's role in this is more of an extended cameo in Red Dragon, Manhunter. He shows up way more in Silence of the Lambs. The film is a great, it was one of this film was really again establishing the Michael Mann 1980 style, the soundtrack, the electronic soundtrack, and the music tracks by Shriekback, Michael Rubini, who done some great work on The Hunger. The cinematography, very stylized, very much in the Michael Mann, Miami Vice type vibe. Performances by William Peterson. William Peterson's character, Will Graham, is like kind of a combination of like 5 or 6 different, what in real life 5 or 6 different people would do the job that he does. Really the conference scene is really all of those people in real life would be who Will Graham is. He's a criminal profiler. He's a very interesting character when you think about what these people try to do, in real life. And you really didn't see it in films. I mean, it's hard to imagine in this world of CSI and criminal profile and the profiler and these shows where, we get barraged with these criminal profiling shows. But in the 80s, that was something very new and something really different, this type of thing of people, psychologists, medical professionals, criminal professionals, people in law enforcement trying to profile the behavior of serial killers in order to catch them, because as one of the law enforcement officers in the film says, these characters, these killers, are motivated by some kind of deep psychological need. They're not motivated by money or anything that an average person would be motivated by. So you kind of have to get into their head. You have to get into the head of like someone like Dollarhide. In this film, he's called the Tooth Fairy because he likes to leave his bite marks on his victims. And there's a lot of scenes of just William Peterson alone in a room trying to get into the mind of this killer, and he does a really good job of it. He's a really great actor, and he's able to, through his voice, through talking to himself and going to the crime scenes, getting into the head of this guy. And there's some really cool stuff where scenes are just developed just all alone, just this character, this Will Graham character, walking through these scenes, and the architecture of the Manhunter, the stylized detention facility where Hannibal Lecter lives, and the hotel where William Peterson stays, and the big elevators. I mean, all of this stuff is very stylized, and a great film overall. Not a success during its time period, but a film which has really stood the test of time. Remade, pretty much, by Brett Ratner in the early 2000s under the original book's title, Red Dragon, with Anthony Hopkins now playing Hannibal Lecter, and Ralph Fiennes playing the Tooth Fairy, and everybody, But and I haven't seen that movie in a while, so I'm not going to be negative on it. Dante Spinotti, the original cinematographer of Manhunter, actually brought on by Brett Ratner to in some ways, some of those scenes are almost, beat for some of them are almost beat for beat, very similar to Manhunter. But in Red Dragon, the Red Dragon remake, they actually show Will Graham's original confrontation with Hannibal Lecter, which is not seen in Manhunter. It's just kind of alluded to with the Will Graham character talking to his son of how he profiled this criminal to the point where he actually saw just an ornament in his office and was like, "That's the killer I'm looking for." So a good film. Joan Allen plays the blind woman in this film. It's a good early role from Joan Allen. Great stuff. Great cinematography, great music, great mood. If you like Michael Mann, what are you waiting for? Great film, Manhunter, cool.